Okay, first I want to thank Jim McIntyre, president here at school, availing his facility. It's a tremendous facility, gives us everything that we could ask for relative to practice and preparation, locker room. Thank you, Jim, appreciate it again. Just a tremendous venue for us to, prepare our football team. So really pleased with that, and got a great practice in today. An intense Tuesday for us. Kids came back ready to practice, and got a good day in today. So pleased with the work today, and they'll get a chance to see a little bit of Nashville. But it's really for us about playing this game. We're extremely pleased and happy to be part of the Franklin Mortgage Music City Bowl, but this is really important for us, this game. And our focus is about playing LSU, a great opponent, but we want to play well and win the football game. So our guys understand that, and they'll enjoy themselves tonight, but we're in game week as well, so there's a balance here, enjoying the bowl game and what goes with it. But I got to tell you, they'll have 17 days off after the bowl game. They'll have New Year's, and they can run around then. We want to really be prepared and ready to play our best against a very good football team. So those are the things that we talked about. I'll open it up to questions.
Is it a good omen that you're practicing and using the home of the Irish as your facility for the?
I sure hope so. We'll take any of that. We'll kiss the Blarney Stone. We'll do any of those things if that helps. I'm not much in terms of superstition or luck. It's about preparation and how you play and all those things. But we'll throw that in. That's always good.
Brian, what's kind of your agenda with the quarterbacks in terms of deciding how much each is going to play and who you're going to start?
I haven't made the decision on who the starter is yet. They're both, taking reps and both getting quality reps. In other words, they're both getting first-team reps. So I haven't made that decision yet. Probably have to make it here in the next 24 hours. As we get to Thursday, we'll have that decision made. They're both going to play, and I'm going to have to just get a feel for it and the flow of the game and how the game goes. But we've constructed the game plan to take advantage of what we believe and what I believe their strengths are and what they can contribute to us moving the football and scoring points.
Has Malik's level of play jumped up? Is that why there is such a tough decision here for you?
Well, I think anytime you get in there with the first team reps, it certainly lends itself to a different perspective of how you evaluate somebody, when you're in the first group, and I think he's handled himself very well. Competition obviously brings that in, I think, and quite frankly, part of it is we want to see him play. We want to see him too, right? So I think all those things, Eric, I don't think it's one thing in particular that his practice has been so good that he's lapped the field. I think all of those things factor into why he is where he is.
How important is Malik playing in terms of helping your running game? Are you looking at
very important?
You're looking at from that standpoint.
Absolutely, and obviously that plus your play action passing and your ability obviously to control the clock and keep their offense off the field. All those things, how we're going to manage the game, all those things are very important.
You've always said in a perfect world you would prefer one quarterback.
Yeah.
How comfortable do you think you are going to be in the heat of battle making the decision?
I've done it several times over several years. This is my 25th year in it. I've done it a long time and had multiple situations where I've had to balance more than one quarterback. I've gone into playoff games when I was in Division II and had to run option with a guy who couldn't throw it. So Malik can throw it. So we can do a lot of things with 2 quarterbacks. I think can be pretty exciting.
Kind of exciting to you in that?
Yeah, I think so.
Playbook?
Yeah, I think it opens up everything, you know, so you got everything available to you. And then, you know, you go into a game where, you know, you're really going to see the best from both of them because they know, you know, they're going to get an opportunity and they're going to have to play very well.
Little housekeeping, final exams, everybody came out of that okay?
We have everybody here. Everybody is eligible to compete, yes.
And draft stat, did you hear on the draft status or the report from the NFL regarding the 4 that?
We did. We got it back, but I am not going to publicly comment on their particular place. I'll let them make any comments about where they sit. I got into that a couple of years ago, and I just think it's better that that's something that we'll keep between us. But we did get a report back from the NFL relative to their statuses.
Brian, you know, there was a point in the season where you weren't happy with what Elijah Shoemate and Max Redfield were giving you at safety. You wanted
Yeah.
to see more production.
Yes.
Now they're kind of in a position where they have to help you.
Correct.
But have you seen the improvements? Have you seen the better production, the things that you wanted to see?
We saw a little bit better play from Elijah. We still need to see, you know, more. You know, we have higher expectations for Elijah. We have higher expectations for Max. They know it. It's been articulated to them. We've had one-on-one meetings with them. I've met with them individually. Brian's met with them individually. They know what they need to do, and they're going to be asked to do a lot for us against LSU. They have got to come up big for us.
And is there any chance Hardy or Matthias become your best options there?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I think those 2 will be our guys, and they'll have to get the job for us done.
Coach, can you speak to the mystique that still surrounds Notre Dame, even with the way college football has changed so much, especially in the last few years, and it's still Notre Dame is Notre Dame?
Well, you know, I think certainly the history of college football runs through, you know, Notre Dame in so many ways. You know, the early success at the turn of the century, Newt Rockne, so many stories. So that still is something that feeds on. But, you know, just so many great stories. I think playing from coast to coast with so many other schools lends itself to that we're not, you know, pigeonholed into just one geographical area. And this is another great opportunity when playing LSU, you know, as many times as we have now, lends itself to that kind of opportunity.
And speaking of that, a lot of people have said this is a great matchup because it's 2 traditionally rich football programs. Is this a good matchup on the field? How do you 2 teams match up on the field?
Well, I think so. I mean, look, these 2 teams have the same exact record over the last 3 years. We're both 28-10 over the last 3 years. So, you know, you're looking at 3 teams that, you know, have had some success. And, you know, both of us have had our ups and downs this year, both searching at certain positions. So, yeah, this is an important game for both programs that have, you know, this is a team that won a national championship here just, 7 years ago. And so, great tradition, national championship team, name recognition. Yeah, pretty good matchup.
What is the status of Lombard?
Christian Lombard has been fighting a back injury all year, and it's flared up, you know, obviously for him. We're trying to quiet it down the best we can, so he's been limited in practice.
Or is Mike the guy?
Yeah, Mike
Is he
McGlinchey
gonna
would
be
be.
the guy coming in regardless, or what was the plan for right tackle?
Well, no, if Christian was healthy enough to play, he would certainly, you know, Christian Lombard has been a warrior for us. He's played through a number of different injuries, senior, you know, he would definitely have played if he was physically able to. That's a major question mark for us right now.
What about Sheldon?
Sheldon Day will play and will start for us.
How different is your run defense now than it was late in the season?
Well, it's going to be improved with Sheldon Day in there, and you know, Cody Riggs helps us a lot too. You know, his ability to play out at the corner position, can play a lot more aggressive. We can be, you know, on body there. So I think both of those guys certainly help us without question in terms of the run game.
Jalen Smith, have you seen growth from him during December when he hasn't had to have a game to worry about every week?
Absolutely. I think the growth has been more in a leadership capacity, wanting to do more, wanting to be more of a leader, wanting to take on more responsibility as a defensive leader. You know, he's one step from being a junior and being in his third year in our program. So you can see that kind of starting to take shape and form. Moving from the outside to the inside this year was really a learning experience for him. I think he's gone through that now, and I think he's at that point where he's ready now to take on more.
What have you seen? You said some great things about Niles Morgan here the last few times we've talked to you. What have you seen him do since the end of the season? He ended it strong in the second half against USC. What gives you confidence he's going to take it to the next level?
I just think, you know, we thrusted him into a position of, you know, just a really difficult position of a true freshman at the middle linebacker position. And he's done everything we've asked him to do. I just think, you know, he brings so many great qualities to the table that we're asking him to do way more before he should. And so it's how what lenses are you really evaluating him with? And if you're evaluating him with the, you know, veteran lenses, you know, he has good plays and he has bad plays, he can hurt you here and there, but if you're evaluating him as a freshman that just walked in here trying to run, you're like, wow, this kid is going to be so good. And I think that continues to be the case. And it'll probably be the case when we play LSU. There'll be some really good things, and there'll be some things where you go, oh, you know, I wish he knew this or he had the experience. I think that's going to probably be the case again.
Did he play as well as his second half numbers indicated against USC, or was that just USC running power and coming at him?
I think a little bit of both, yeah.
As young as you guys are, and I've seen a quote where you sort of mentioned all these practices, they're sort of like a new spring ball for you, or at least like spring ball. Do you guys look at this as, is this the start of 2015 for you, or is this the cap to 2014?
There's a little bit of both. This is an important game for us to go into the off season, and you know, I mentioned before, there's a sense of urgency in wanting to win a football game because you want to stem the tide a little bit. You know, you want to start thinking about the really good things that happened this year with this football team. You don't want to be hearing the negative things because there were so many good things. This football team is really close to having a very magical season in so many ways. That's where you want to really stem it and start to talk about positive things. And that's where a win will certainly erase a lot of those things. But on the other hand, there's so many young players that are getting valuable experience. You know, it's a little bit of both that's going on at the same time.
LSU's in the SEC West, but knowing Butch the way that you do, have you picked his brain at all to pick up anything from him on them?
No, we've talked, but just families have talked because the families are pretty close. More Christmas stuff than football stuff.
Brian, you mentioned importance a couple times tonight. Is part of what makes this game important because it's LSU, because it's an SEC team with a lot of national respect?
No, the prime importance is for us we work so hard in practice, we want to be able to translate that on Saturday. And I use Saturday figuratively. Obviously, we're not playing on Saturday, but carrying our work on the field in practice and carrying it to a game. And so that's very important for this team. They need to see that the work that they put in can be realized on a game situation if they do the things that we're asking them to do. And that's why I'm excited about them getting a chance to play again. That's why it's an important game.
What would you anticipate Sheldon Day's work volume will be?
That's a good question. You know, we'd like them to play every play. We don't think that's realistic. You know, if we could get, you know, between 40 and 50 plays, I think we'd be ecstatic. Yeah.
And Jay Hayes in the mix here?
20? Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if we can get 20 players or so, that'd be great.
How important is Isaac Rochelle in this game?
Extremely important.
Can you talk about that just because he can do?
Yeah, he can play both inside and outside. He's going to have to do both. He's going to have to be a guy that does both for us because of our, you know, obviously the depth situation from the inside is limited for us. So to get that kind of size to match up against a big physical LSU football team, we need that player to do a little bit of both for us, so he's a very important player for us.
In addition to him and Day coming back, I mean, what makes you confident that you're better prepared to stop the run than maybe you were at the end of the season when you were short on numbers?
Yeah, I think there's so many factors involved. I think the team was, obviously, look, it's not great to play at noontime on the West Coast from South Bend, Indiana. I could give you a million reasons. The guys are rested up. They're a lot, fresher. We're ready for that kind of, grinding. I just think your football team's in a better position than they were, going against USC.
What's the, and it's a big picture question too, I mean, but what's the key to Notre Dame playing the kind of football you were playing at Florida State as opposed to the kind of football you're playing when the season ended?
I just think the things that I've talked about, trusting their technique, trusting themselves, having great confidence in what they're doing. We're still, a player or two, we need a little bit more size inside, but we'll make up for it with some determination. We'll grind through it, and I think we've got a good plan, to find ways to minimize some of the areas where we lack some of the players that won't be able to help us out. Namely, a big 300-pounder like Jerron Jones. That's where you can use it against a big team like LSU.
There was a stretch sort of in the middle of the season where your offensive line was really starting to gel. You guys were running the football against some big defensive lines, Florida State especially. You got a little banged up. With obviously Christian possibly not playing as much and Mike in there, in the time off, do you feel like your line's kind of getting back to that sort of period in the middle of the season when you guys were able to really just kind of pound away at some teams there in the run game?
Yeah, I really, from my perspective, I think we're not going to see a drop off with Mike in there. I think we should be in pretty good shape. We definitely dipped a little bit relative to November in terms of we would have liked to have run the ball a little bit better and effectively in certain instances. But I think if you look at the two games that in particular where we didn't finish off some drives, Northwestern and Louisville, it really wasn't attributed to one thing. It wasn't, hey, the offensive line couldn't grind it out. We fumbled the ball here and fumbled the ball there. So I'm pretty confident that with this group and with Mike in there, we'll be able to, control the ball when we need to.
And then on the outside, you obviously, Will's had a great season, and Corey and Chris in different spots have really played well. Can you talk about how important it is that they are ready to kind of step up and make plays against two?
Look, if they don't make plays on the outside, we won't move the ball effectively. They'll have to make, it's going to be man-to-man coverage on the outside. They're going to have to make some plays on the outside. So they'll have to make some really good individual plays against very good coverage, the best that we've seen all year.
Last thing for me, you've talked about, you need to get Torrey ready to go. He needs to step up and contribute. How has he been through this bowl preparation as far as taking his game to a...
He's gotten a ton of work. We've worked him both outside at the X and the Z because we just want to continue to load reps on him. So he's gotten a ton of work, and he's ready, when he gets his chance to get in there and contribute.
How much of that onus is on your offense with the depth issues,
Yeah.
with how LSU sort of grinds it out?
Sure.
How much is it on the offense to...
There's a lot on our offense. I mean, like I said, I think the game is, for us, is that, we have to do a great job of controlling the football. We have to do a great job of putting points on the board. We can't just control it and not score points. It can't be that as well. So we've got to put points on the board. We've got to be able to finish off drives. And our defense has got to stand up as well. Now, we talk a lot about injuries, but we only have 3 guys out, really, from the Florida State game, right? We've got Joe Schmidt out. We've got Tranquil out. And we've got Jerron Jones out. I mean, we only got 3 guys out. So
3 pretty good guys.
they're 3 good guys, granted. They're 3 pretty good guys, and we'd like them back. But the fact of the matter is we should be able to find a way to grind it out, and that's what we're looking to do.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.